Hey everybody, this is your girl CeleXy, and gosh, I am so full of memories today, and I wanted to go live and share with you what I consider to be a revelation, a memory, information that I know is not simply just for me. Now, I did post something earlier today about a dream that I had last night, and I'll just kind of recount that for you because that is the segue into what else I have to share with you. So, all the way live from CeleXy's Temple of TruAgeTruThot, this is what I want to share with you today. So last night I had this dream. Now, of course, I have multiple dreams every night. But there was one that stands out the most, and this was the one specifically about Whitney Houston. So in this dream, I'm getting dressed to go attend a stepper event. And there are people that I know and deal with in my waking life today. Beatrice Williams, she's a model and fashionista here in the city. She's helping me get dressed and put on this beautiful outfit that I'm going to wear to this stepper event. I get to the stepper event, and Tony Smooth Butler says to me, Whitney Houston just died. And I'm like, what? And as I'm walking into the stepper set, everybody is just beside themselves with grief because Whitney Houston just died. Now, I'm knowing that Whitney died 7 years ago. So I go and I sit down at a table and I get my cell phone out and I'm calling, I'm phoning a friend, and I'm saying, something is weird. Something's weird going on here because all these people are upset and sad talking about Whitney Houston just died. But I know for a fact she died 7 years ago. So I'm like confused, even in the dream, right? So anyway, I wake up from the dream and I start processing information. I'm listening to meditation. I'm on my stationary bike and I'm riding. I'm listening to my meditations and everything. And it starts occurring to me. If some of you may have seen where I posted a comment about ebb and flow and reaping and sowing and my bicycles. I have a stationary bike and I have a mountain bike. When it's not too hot, I ride the mountain bike. When it's too hot, I sit in the air and ride my stationary bike, right? But I'm talking about ebb and flow, and I'm talking about reaping and sowing. All those things occur in cycles. I don't think it's a coincidence that I was able to connect that with my bike, which is a bicycle, okay? So where am I going with this? And how does this relate to Whitney Houston? Well, the dream was to remind me of the 7-year cycles. And those of you who are familiar with some of the religious texts, they talk about, and the ones I'm most familiar with is the Bible, but there's a passage in there in the Old Testament that talks about Jacob's son Joseph and his ability to interpret dreams. And he's living in Potiphar's house, one of the kings in Egypt, and Potiphar has a dream and summons Joseph to come and interpret his dreams for him. Joseph tells him a dream about some fatted cows. And I'm paraphrasing because I don't have my Bible in front of me. I'm just going strictly from my memory, that information that I've hidden in my heart or, in the recesses of my mind. But basically the dream was about 7 years of feast and 7 years of famine. So as I'm riding my bicycle, my stationary bike, going nowhere literally or physically, but going everywhere spiritually, right? So I'm riding my bicycle, I'm cycling on my bicycle, and it occurred to me, oh my goodness, this is 2019. Whitney Houston died 7 years ago in 2012. 7 years prior to that was 2005. Now, those of you who know me also know that I was a minister for 10 years. Between 2000 and 2010, I was active in the ministry in the traditional church. Well, when I got married to my second husband in 2005, we were living a life of abundance. And even then, because I was in the ministry, I ran across passages, and even the Old Testament, about the whole thing of 7 years of feast and 7 years of famine. And I knew between 2005 and 2012 that I was in a cycle of feasting, of reaping, of flowing. Okay, I recognized that. But then something happened and my life began to change. I was sat down from the ministry. My marriage fell apart. Well, I'm not going to say it fell apart. But anyway, my marriage came to an end. In 2011 was my year of the RE, my time to remember, to wake up and remember. Okay, well then 2012 comes along, which is when Whitney Houston died, I believe February 11, somewhere around there, 2012. That was the beginning of a new cycle for me and many others of us here. I think we're on different cycles, but a lot of us are on the same cycle. So while some of us are in feast, others of us are in famine. I was just telling my cousin Emily the other day about another dream I had a couple days ago, where there was a large group of men dressed in suits running up the stairs on one side. On the other side, there was one man in a suit going in the opposite direction. And then when the group of men came back down on this side, the one man went back up on the other side. So they were going in different directions. One in reaping, one in sowing, one in ebb, one in flow. Celeste, where are you going with this? I need you to sit back and think back over the last 14 years and discern exactly where you are in the cycle of life. Now remember, a cycle is a circle, but the significance about life circles is that we move up and we spiral down. We spiral up and we spiral down. Cycles, cycles, cycles. So we're going around and round, but every time we're either going higher or lower. You're either in feast or famine. You're either in ebb or flow. You're either in reap or sow. Cycles, 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 everyone. So I need you, I want you, I crave for you to recognize where you are in the cycle of life. I woke up full of joy because I recognize I am on the brink of expansion. I am on the brink of cycling up to the next level. The question is, what did you learn during the previous 14 years that's going to support and serve as a catalyst for the next 14 years or the next 7 years? For me, I'm moving up into another season of really sowing. So I'm building again. I'm rebuilding. I'm reestablishing my temple. I'm working out my own salvation. Okay? So I've had my 7 years of feast from 2005 to 2012, and then I've had 7 years of famine from 2012 to 2019. Now, famine doesn't have to mean that you're poor and you're starving, but in the last 7 years, I quit multiple times. I took several jobs and they weren't working out for me, and I quit, and I thought I was just not happy with my profession, and I thought a lot of things. Too much to tell you in one video. I thought a lot of things, but what I have come to realize is during that 7 years of famine, what I was doing was really, I wasn't doing the sowing, so you may say I was doing the reaping, but I was enabling myself to be sowed into. So having all these experiences during the last 7 years, I've learned a lot about myself and a lot about life. And so while I didn't have to starve during those 7 years, because clearly I did some things right in my 7 years of feast to be able to support, I'm sorry, siren coming through. I did something right in my 7 years of feast to support my 7 years of famine. And so those of you who follow me and know me know that yes, I have literally left multiple places of employment for various reasons and still have been able to provide for myself. So I did, store up some things. I did put some things in the storehouse so that I could make it through this 7-year season in my life. However, now we are on the brink of another feasting season, another 7-year cycle. Now, unfortunately, because we live in the age of duality or polarity, there are some of us who are going to be moving into a season of feast, but there are some who are going to be moving into a season of famine. But be not disheartened, because I just told you I am coming through. I have just travailed 7 years of famine. But it is a growing season. It is a learning season. It is a remembering season, so that when you move up to the next level and you enter into your feasting cycle, you will be wiser than you were the last time you were in this cycle. So now you get a chance to not only be a benefit to yourself, so that you will reap the harvest for yourself and be ready for the next famine, that next 7-year cycle. You will be able to help others prepare as well, as we go up and down Jacob's ladder. Do you feel me? Oh my God, I can't tell if anybody's even watching me right now, but it's okay, because whatever, all that I have to say, I'm going to share it on all my platforms. It just is what it is. I have to. I have been dealing with for the last several weeks, an elevated blood pressure. And if you know what I know, you know that blood represents our life force, along with the prana, this air and oxygen that we get to breathe in. I mean, blood without that oxygen, it just don't even work the same. So they work in harmony, they work in tandem. But I know part of the reason for that, society and the medical field would call it stress, but for me, it means that my cup is full, my cup is running over, so I have to release. That is why I'm all over social media. That is why I create the videos. That is why I share and post, because I have to. It is a prerequisite for more. It is a prerequisite for more. We talk about walking around with our hands open, ready to receive and to give. Receive and give. Ebb and flow. Reap and sow. You can't do it with your hands like this, and you certainly can't do it with your mouth closed or your eyes shut or not listening. There's the whole analogy about the 3 monkeys, and monkey see, monkey do, or the blind monkey, the deaf monkey, and the monkey who can't speak. Yeah, I need you to get your ears open, keep them nice and clean, get your eyes open, get them checked, make sure the main eye is open, because it controls all of it. And then this, as you reap, as you learn, as you glean, as you extract, share, input, output, input, output, input, output, and use these. We have to come together, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm so excited about this revelation. I used to sing a song, or I used to hear a song in the church when I was a little girl. I said I wasn't going to tell nobody, but I couldn't keep it to myself. Yeah, that's where I'm at today. I'm supposed to be working on this book that I need to get done. I must get done. However, I could not allow the day to progress any further without me sharing this information with you. So on that note, I'm going to stop, because I could go on and on and on. And those of you who know me know I can and will. But I'm going to get back to work. And wholeness, balance, and vibrations to all of you. Let's get ready to cycle up to the next season of feast and reaping and sowing and ebbing and flowing. Let's get it, y'all.